Good afternoon, and welcome to the Olympia Snow Women's Leadership Institute's annual Leadership Luncheon. I am Christina McAnuff, Executive Director of the Institute, and your host for the next 45 minutes. And while this year's event feels very different, we are grateful technology allows us to come together, many of us in our joggers, loungewear, and from the comfort of home. Before we get started, I want to let you know that while there are a few of us in the studio today, we are practicing social distancing at all times and wearing masks when we're not on camera. I also want to give a shout out to my daughter Birdie, who is watching from home. I love you. Okay, on with the show. Senator Snow, the board, staff, and I are thrilled you are joining us today because this is a celebration of all you have done to make a difference in the lives of Olympia's leaders, as the teenagers in our program are known. This is one of a few opportunities we have each year to share the impact you are having by supporting the Institute and the Olympia's leaders it serves. They are more than 525 strong and connected to the program through the guidance of more than 200 caring advisors we call OSWLIs, Olympia's Leaders Advisors. We have a short yet meaningful program for all of you, and it will culminate in one of our Olympia's leaders drawing the name of the winner of the Raffle, a lunch for two with Senator Snow and Governor McKernan. Should this be the first time you are hearing about the Raffle, fear not. You may purchase raffle tickets up to 1 o'clock, about half an hour from now, and they will be included in the drawing. Just visit www.snowleadershipinstitute.org/raffle. We will give you another reminder as the time draws close. Spoiler alert, we do have another surprise in store for all of you, so stay tuned. Before that time, you will hear from Olympia's leaders, experience 2 panels of people intimately engaged in the program, listen to Senator Snow share a reflection on where the Institute is today, and learn why the wave of support for Olympia's mission to raise the confidence and aspirations and encourage the leadership of Maine girls has been endorsed by so many, and what that means for our future. To kick us off, Olympia's leaders share why they need the Institute now more than ever.
I had to think about how to start.
Yeah, that's okay.
The Institute helps shape young girls into strong and independent women. It gives girls, including myself, the confidence to speak out in big groups like I am here today. I don't think I would have even had the courage to come here and speak if it wasn't for the Institute, to make my values present and make my voice heard. We're in this global pandemic, and I've had a really difficult time with it being my senior year, and I'm losing and missing out on a lot of the best aspects of high school in general.
It was really hard when all of a sudden all my connections were stripped from me and I couldn't see people in person. I couldn't see my friends in person, my peers, even the administration and staff at my school.
With my brother off to college and both my parents at work constantly, I had really just a house to myself and no one to reach out to. I felt very alone, but soon realized once I got a small email or text from my OSWLIs and other fellow Olympia leaders that I had another basically family out there.
The people that the Institute has brought into my life has changed it dramatically in the most amazing ways.
My OSWLIs are very important people in my life. I look up to them. They just want us to succeed and be the best versions of ourselves.
Throughout the pandemic, my advisors still held monthly meetings where we got to reconnect and kind of talk in our little group of Olympia's leaders what was going on, how the pandemic was impacting us. And that was an extremely valuable resource because, once again, you weren't seeing many people, and being able to have that was so important to me and gave me some structure in my life.
We've done Zoom calls, we've done meetings outside of school, or actually pumpkin carving together.
I could reach out to them anytime I needed to just talk to them, just be able to get my mind off of everything that was going on in the world.
Being able to keep the connections with the girls is amazing. You can just tell that the people who are selected for this institute are such promising individuals and have such bright futures ahead of them.
I hope to use my values of confidence and leadership to be able to lead others as an adventure outdoor educator.
Currently, I would like to go to college and major in marketing and hopefully have a successful career in business.
Next year, I plan to go to college and major in elementary education. And a big part of making my decision to do that was from the Institute. I learned that I valued happiness, and that's something I get being around children, which really led me to want to become a teacher.
To all the supporters of the Olympia Women's Leadership Institute, keep doing what you're doing because it's making an impact in the people in the program and the people around the people in the program. It's like a huge chain reaction.
I want to thank all the generous donors and all the supporters of the Institute and everyone who makes it happen, because I am so forever grateful to have been a part of this Institute the past 3 years.
I would like to extend my gratitude to the donors and the individuals who have dedicated so much of their time to this Institute. This Institute is so important, and raising confident young women is only going to positively impact all of our futures.
Thank you for your patience as we navigated a technical glitch. I hope you can appreciate that goes hand in hand with pandemic. I love hearing from Olympia's leaders. Thank you to Julia, Mandy, and Bethany for sharing your insights with us. It was reassuring to hear from Mandy that the program's impact will benefit all of us. Yet some days during this pandemic, I wonder and worry about the toll it is taking on all of us and on Maine teenagers and Olympia's leaders. While I know many Olympia's leaders from across the state are watching today, I suspect many of us older folk have been out of school, and certainly high school, for some time. So much has changed. Throw a pandemic and remote learning into the mix, and we have an environment that is a breeding ground for stress, anxiety, and loneliness. You heard Olympia's leaders talk about some of the challenges they are facing. To share additional perspectives are 3 caring adults who are part of our statewide network that helps us organize and deliver the Institute's program. This afternoon, we are joined by Megan Perkins, a history teacher with Lawrence High School in Fairfield. Lawrence is a partner school with sophomores, juniors, and seniors participating in the program. Ellen Honan, a former school principal who's in her 3rd year as an advisor to the class of 2021 at Sanford High School. And Nikki Vachon, who is a college access counselor with the Finance Authority of Maine. She is also a 2-time advisor, or Olympia's leader advisor, and currently supporting the sophomore class at Bangor High School. Megan, let's start with you. From a teacher's perspective, how is this year different from others? And what is the impact you are seeing it have on your students, including Olympia's leaders?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on what district you're looking at to look at the student and teacher perspective. So at MS 8049 district, we're currently in a hybrid model. So as a teacher, I'm seeing half the students one day and the other half on the other. And then there's some families and students that have opted into just doing full-on remote learning all day, every day. So with the students that I'm seeing in class, it's amazing to see them in person, but then they're also, the next day they're at home. So connecting with them is really difficult. And with all the technology that there are out there, it's still difficult to really build that rapport and relationship. So connection is key in this day and age, especially during a pandemic, to build that relationship and rapport with them.
Thank you. Ellen, as a former building principal, what is your impression of what teenagers and the Olympia's leaders with whom you are close are experiencing today? And how might the priorities for administrators and teachers be shifting to support students' needs? And how does the Institute's program align with schools' priorities during this difficult time?
I think our largest concern is coping with the isolation that everyone is experiencing, and also the concern that we have for the emotional well-being of the students and the OLs. As a school would shift priorities, it's how do we develop and maintain the relationships that are so important to our work at the school level and at the level of the Institute. Technology is wonderful. We're so fortunate that we can communicate in many different ways, but there are glitches. The important thing in any relationship is communication. And we can't communicate anymore. The importance of communication right now has never been more important. So we need to raise our voices and reach out to our OLs. We meet on Zoom, but it's challenging to really get the flavor for eye contact and that communication. So OLAs, OLs, reach out to us, raise your voices, we are listening.
Thank you, Ellen. Nikki, in your role as a college access counselor, you interface with seniors across Maine and the adults in their lives. What, if any, trends are you seeing with the class of 2021? And based on your experience as an advisor, how does the program support Olympia's leaders as they prepare for life after high school?
Yeah, so we hear the same thing from every school that we work with. And we were just talking about this earlier. Students are just not engaging like they have been. They're facing challenges that we've never seen before. On the higher education side, college applications are down. The FAFSA, the financial aid application, it's one of the major indicators of whether or not someone's going to go to college. That's down 17% in Maine, and that's alarming. So that's something we watch a lot. What we do know is that students are more successful when they have a personal relationship with someone that helps them, plan their future, and that's why school counselors are just so critical. But we're always watching to see where we can help those students so they don't fall through the cracks, and that's where the Institute plays such a huge part. The OLAs, the Olympia Leaders Advisors, are that extra person in their life that helps them figure out their planning for the future and works with them to try and have them learn things like networking and connecting and advocating like you were mentioning earlier. So it really as that extra person in their life to help them make the next connection.
Thank you. Ellen, thinking about your senior Olympia's leaders in Sanford, what specifically are you hearing from them? What are they concerned about? How have you adjusted your communications to maintain connections with them this year? What do meetings look like for you all?
Well, they're missing their friends, and they're missing the rituals and the routines and the rhythms of a regular school year. And the range of emotions is broad. They're worried, they're seniors, they're worried about what this year is going to look like and how to prepare for life beyond high school. They're frustrated, they're angry, there's some apathy, yet they show up for our meetings. And yes, communication has changed, and we're on Zoom, and the OLs have a lot of screen time now, but they show up for our meetings. And as I had said earlier, it's challenging on Zoom because it's nice to see everyone, but you don't get that sense of the eye contact and the mood. So we email, then we text to tell them that we emailed, and that communication has increased dramatically this year.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. Nikki, so many individuals, companies, and organizations have invested in the Institute's program and are committed to supporting Olympia's leaders across the state. Normally, there are 2 to 3 events that connect donors and partners with program participants. Of course, that is not happening right now. What would you want the Institute's supporters to know about the role the Institute is playing in the lives of Olympia's leaders this year?
So I think one of the greatest thing the Institute does is it gives these young women skills to network and communicate and advocate. But if you ever got a chance to go to one of these events, which are amazing, you get to see these young women, learn these skills with you in your meetings, but then take them to these events where they can network with professionals in the fields they're interested in, or advocates for, areas they're really passionate about, and they get to like test drive these new skills that they have, and that really gives them the confidence. I don't know if you all have seen like the confidence grow once they have these skills, they get to try them out in this supportive environment. It's amazing. I'm so fortunate to be a part of this and watch them grow professionally.
I have one quick question and then we're going to wrap up. Megan, as a teacher and as our contact, you were right in the middle of selecting or nominating the next year's Olympia's leaders. What is one thing you would say to a sophomore or rising sophomore who's been nominated for the program?
Yeah, so the first thing I tell them is that it's an honor to be nominated, that one teacher or several, and in most cases, several teachers have seen this young girl have tons of potential for leadership. They, a lot of times they don't have enough confidence. So when I tell them this, they're just like, me? Yes, you. I see them grow in that confidence as the years progress, and it's amazing to see them believe that they are special, and I think the Institute does that for them.
Thank you. You are all professionals and have clearly acquired the skills to be successful in your careers. Thinking about your path, considering what is ahead for the girls in the program, and reflecting on the Institute's curriculum, what piece do you find most meaningful and valuable for Olympia's leaders? Megan, we'll start with you, and then we'll hear from Ellen and Nikki.
I would say the mentorship and the connection that the program gives to the girls is extremely important and extremely unique. Those advisors are amazing role models for those girls, and you don't see that every day in other clubs that schools provide.
Live your values. And when your words and your actions are in alignment, you are closer to your best self. And that will honor your work and the work that you bring to the world.
Learn those networking skills. I can't tell you what a gift that is for your future, and how what a head start that gives you in making connections for your future.
Thank you, Megan, Ellen, and Nikki, for joining us today. To the Olympia's leaders watching, we are here for you, as is the Institute's network across the state. To the Institute donors and partners, thank you for your unwavering support to help us ensure the program is in place to support Olympia's leaders during this critical time and for many years to come. As we come to the end of 2020 and celebrate the Institute's 5th year of operations, we also celebrate the impact the program has been having since day one. Today, alumni from the inaugural class of Olympia's leaders are juniors in college, and some of them are in the workforce. To give you a sense of how the program continues to make a difference in their lives, I invite you to watch this video.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely be in like a very different place right now if I hadn't been a part of this. Like, I wouldn't be doing any of the stuff that I'm doing right now.
I was inspired by the Institute because I feel like every journey of personal growth is individualized here, and that's something that we don't get everywhere else. What I was taught was my values, but most importantly, it taught me how to value myself. And because of that, I gained so much confidence when I went to college.
I'm a junior studying communications at the University of Southern Maine.
I was one of the first Olympia's leaders to graduate from college with an associate's in general studies.
When I went into college, I initially went in as a business major because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
I started out at Huston University studying physical therapy, but I found through the Institute that I have a passion for public speaking, and I love speaking about mental health. And that caused me to get the confidence to change my major. I spoke up and I decided to do communications instead because I want to raise awareness about mental health.
Now, being a second semester sophomore, I've changed my major to political science. I was scared of change, but that's all part of that confidence piece. So now I'll have a political science major, a business minor, and a leadership minor, all because I had that drive and the support system to be able to do things like that.
During the pandemic, I was balancing a lot of things, changing from my 2 jobs to a full-time job while doing finals for my college degree. And the Institute really gave me great confidence and great I can do this energy, and I thank them for that.
So despite being out of the program for a few years now, I still stay in contact with my former advisors, and I know that they'll always be there to support me in whatever I do, and I have a whole network of strong, influential women behind me.
My OLAs were there for me 110% all the time, and they really taught me, along with Olympia and everybody else on the staff, what being a true mentor was like. So to see that in a high school level was amazing, and one of the first times I not only had a role model to look up to, but a female role model to look up to.
Without the program, I wouldn't be in the position that I am today, and I enjoy coming back to events and speaking because I think it's really important to give back to the Institute because they gave so much to me.
The Olympia's leaders featured in the video represent the impact the program you support has had on our more than 300 alumni and more than 525 current Olympia's leaders. Knowing how much you enjoy hearing from Olympia's leaders, we invited 3 to join us today. Before I introduce them, I want to let you know the raffle to win a lunch for 2 with Senator Snowe and Governor McKernan will close at 1 p.m. If you have not purchased a ticket yet and wish to, please visit www.snowleadershipinstitute.org/raffle. This is the final reminder. Now I am thrilled to speak with Julia Shabbat, an alumna from the class of 2018 at Lewiston High School, who is now a second-year culinary student at Central Maine Community College. Gracia Beretti, a 2020 graduate of Westbrook High School, and a first-year student at Smith College studying government with a pre-law focus. And Isabella Libby, a senior at Sacopee Valley High School, who's in her 3rd year of the Institute's program. Julia, you graduated from high school in the program more than 2 years ago. What has your journey been like since that time, and what lesson or tool from the Institute's program do you find yourself using or revisiting? What difference has the program made in your life?
I think one of the things that people don't really talk about when you graduate high school is basically the structure and how structured high school really is. You always have people who can help you at the tip of your fingers, and you have everything that you really need to move on from there. But after that, it becomes really difficult to fully kind of grasp where you're going, who you are, and overall what your standpoint is. And having the tools that Olympia's Institute gave me to reevaluate myself and figure out what my values are, who I am, and what my overall role is in life is extremely important, because a lot of people get lost sometimes, and having those skills is extremely helpful to overall move forward and have a better career in life.
Thank you, Julia. Gracia, like all Olympia's leaders, you are who you are because of the sum of experiences you have had throughout your life and how you've responded to them. How is the Institute different from other meaningful opportunities and activities you have participated in?
I'd say that the Institute's always working to improve itself and to make sure that all of their students are feeling included. You know, as a woman of color, like oftentimes in programs you can feel left out, but the Institute every year I always feel and I always notice that they're always trying to make me and other women of color in the program feel recognized and that, you know, their voice matters as well.
Thank you, Gracia. We're so thrilled you're part of our program. Isabella, as a senior in your final year of the program, what have you taken away from the Institute that you found yourself sharing with or teaching to friends who may not be in the program?
One of the things I find myself talking to my friends about when they come to me asking for advice or with an issue, one of the first things I ask them is, what are your values? What do you value in your life? What is most important to you? And after you figure out what those values are, it kind of aids you in making a decision that will benefit you in your life in the best way. and this is, I think, the freshman year, or sophomore year of the Institute. That was the theme, learning your values, and I use that personally in my life quite a bit, just to kind of guide my life in the ways that align my values. So I think one thing I try to spread to others that aren't in the Institute is the big piece about values.
Well, I'm sure Olympia is thrilled to hear that, because I know that she uses her values too when she comes to an important decision. Now, to capture a different perspective, Isabella, what would the adults in your life say about your participation in the Institute's 3-year program?
I think one of the things that is most noticeable by my parents specifically is the sense of individuality I have since being in the program, because being in high school, it's kind of difficult to find who you are, and you want to be a person that you're not a lot of the time, just with the struggles that most kids go through. But I think with the help of the Institute, I've really learned who I am and how I want to be viewed by others. And I've learned that what other people say don't matter, as long as I'm staying true to myself and, you know, what I do align with my values. What other people say is really not necessary to my future. So I think that's one of the most noticeable things by my parents and other adults in my life.
Thank you. Julia, throughout your time with the Institute, you had several opportunities to network with women and men in the Institute's network. What did you take away from those interactions, and how might they have helped you as you were preparing for life after high school?
You know, when I was younger, I think I took networking for granted. When you're younger, you kind of have this ideal set that I can do it, it's my life, I don't need anybody else. But the Institute really taught me that it's way better to have that networking skill and overall foundation of people who, regardless of the just path that you take and the overall road that you decide to go down, no matter if it's the right one or the wrong one, there's always going to be people behind you that are willing to support you and that want to help. And you don't ever have to do anything by yourself, because some of the most successful people in the world always had a mentor, someone who inspired them, something that gave them the drive and the will to do something. And it just makes everything so much easier to have that foundation and networking right in your back pocket in case, you know, something goes wrong, because life isn't always a straight path and life isn't easy. And you always need a little bit of extra help to get you to where you need to be, whether or not you know that for a fact.
We couldn't agree more. Thank you, Julia. Gracia, it has been a true delight to follow you as a leader at Westbrook High School and in your community. And now as you continue with your studies at Smith, what kind of leader are you today? And how did the program support you in your personal development to be the kind of leader you want to be moving forward?
I'd say the Institute's definitely helped with structuring my confidence in my voice and believing in myself. I knew before that oftentimes before I would have to say something or speak, like I would get very anxious and very nervous, but the Institute provided me with a lot of opportunities to speak my truth to others and just express myself. So definitely I became a way more confident person through this Institute.
We can't wait to watch you going forward. As we conclude our time together, I'd love to hear from each of you about how your experience with the Institute has impacted you and what you would want to say to the network of people and organizations that have made the program possible. Isabella, we'll start with you and then hear from Gracia and Julia.
Well, first of all, I have a lot of gratitude for my OLAs, Jean and Ashley. They have, despite the pandemic and other setbacks we've had, they have always shown their support to my cohort. And whether that be texts, emails, or sending us a gift card for our virtual meetings so that we can have a snack when we can't be together in person,
they have always been there. And to the network of people and Senator Snow and her whole team, it means a lot, especially coming from such a small area like Sacopee Valley, where I'm from, that people are there to support you and guide you when you don't really know where to go. So I think one of the best things I've taken from the Institute is that there's always going to be someone there for you, whether you think so or not. And just the whole network of people involved, it really means a lot for them to be a part of it.
I'd like to say thank you to all the donors and to all the supporters of the Institute. It's harder for me to say. You have to be, being in it just says it for itself, honestly. When you guys are supporting us, you're supporting so many people, so many girls that like oftentimes they don't feel like someone's noticing them, or that someone, sees that they have potential to do something. And while you guys are supporting us, you're helping that girl realize that, somebody notices them, somebody thinks that they're going to do great things. So it means a lot what you guys are doing.
I want to say thank you. More than anything in the world, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to do any of what I've done so far in my life. And my OLAs have always been by my side, just a quick email away, and I thank them more than anyone could say. And it's so good to know that there's always going to be somebody out there who thinks that you are worth it, you are good enough, and you are worth the effort. So thank you.
Thank you to Isabella, Gracia, and Julia. And to all Olympia's leaders who are watching today, we look forward to seeing how each of you becomes the leader you wish to be. We will be here for you every step of the way. And again, to our Olympia's leaders who joined us today, we're proud to call you Olympia's leaders. And in addition to the program you make possible, when we hear from our alumni, I'm reminded of the many connections from which they benefit. To date, 12 Olympia's leaders have received Mitchell scholarships. 3 have received Promise scholarships to attend the University of Southern Maine. 2 have received University of Maine early college scholarships. 2 have received JMG John R. McKernan scholarships. And 7 Olympia's leaders have received Global Navigator scholarships to study abroad with CIEE. That represents more than $250,000 in support of Olympia's leaders as they pursue their passions. And this year, as in years past, many Olympia's leaders will turn to their OLAs for college recommendations. And last year, in honor of Sharon Miller's service to and leadership of the Institute as board chair, from 2014 through 2019, Senator Snow and Governor McKernan, joined by Sue and Bill Caron, established the Sharon Y. Miller Leadership Award. Annually, the Institute selects 2 Olympia's leaders who have used their values and voices to have a positive influence on their school community to receive this award. The recognition includes a $2,500 scholarship to help them realize their goals enrolling in post-secondary education, a goal valued deeply by Sharon. We look forward to sharing more stories from Olympia's leaders as they make their way into the world as the leaders we know them to be. And now, I am thrilled to introduce our leader, Senator Snow. No event would be complete without her. When I think about the human connections we are missing out on this year, the one I'm missing the most is the sight of Olympia's leaders crowding around Olympia at our fall forum, eager to hear a pearl of her wisdom, and of course, hoping to get a selfie with her. After 5 events with hundreds of people, every photo captures the magic of those moments. She is a mentor and inspiration to us all. And now, please welcome Senator Olympia Snow.
Thank you, Christina, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so pleased we're able to come together virtually today in spite of all we are going through with the coronavirus pandemic. What a program we have had so far. I want to begin by acknowledging the extraordinary work that Christina and our magnificent team did to make today possible. This gathering certainly looks different from the luncheon we originally had planned, and is only happening at all because of the Herculean efforts of Christina, Lucas, Christina, Carolyn, Allison, and Caroline. They have proven the importance of flexibility, adaptability, and resiliency, all of which are key attributes we feature as part of our program. We would also not be here today without the engagement and annual support of our donors, as well as the tireless efforts and incalculable contributions of our board of directors. At the end of this year, sadly, we will say goodbye to our initial 2 founding board members, Sharon Miller and Karen Stram, as their terms expire in December. Sharon and Karen, you moved heaven and earth to make my vision a reality and put the program in the remarkable position it is in today. There are no words to describe how thankful I am for your tireless efforts. You have my eternal appreciation for your stalwart dedication to this program. This year marks the Institute's 5th anniversary, as well as the start of our 6th academic year, and I'm enormously proud of how much we've accomplished in that time. Of course, when we first designed the curriculum, we couldn't have predicted the added dilemma of a global pandemic. But as we have just heard from some of our extraordinary Olympia's leaders, school contacts, and advisors, the current crisis has only amplified the critical importance of this program, showing us why it's needed now more than ever. Now, those of you who've been on this journey with us for the past 5 years have heard me talk about why I founded the Institute. After leaving the Senate in 2013, I wanted to find a way to give back to my gender here in my home state. At the time, studies showed that between elementary and high school, girls' self-esteem dropped 3.5 times faster than boys, and they are 25% less likely than boys to say they like taking the lead. At the Institute, we seek to reverse those statistics by helping Olympia's leaders develop their values, their voices, and their visions. And what really makes our program unique is that our 3-year evidence-based curriculum is delivered by caring women advisors, affectionately called OLAs, which is short for Olympia's Leaders Advisors. They volunteer to meet with Olympia's leaders monthly throughout the 3 years and are the very foundation of our work, and one of the reasons this program has been such a spectacular success. When I reflect on the tremendous differences we are making thanks to our incredible OLAs, I'm reminded of a story recently shared with us by Anna, a 2020 program graduate who is now a first-year English major at Hudson University. This past summer, as so many of us can appreciate, she realized she was struggling. Anna is first and foremost someone who is quick to help others. In fact, that is one of the core values she identified early in her time as an Olympia's leader. That said, in this time of uncertainty and upheaval, putting others first was taking its toll. I was comforted to learn that when it counted most, Anna had the confidence to use her voice and let those around her know what she needed and that she was more proactive about sharing her feelings. In hindsight, it's remarkable to me that Anna was able to practice being vulnerable in this moment. Ultimately, she drew on pieces from all 3 years of the program by considering what she needed, asking for help, and being open to receiving that help. The end of the summer saw her balancing her own well-being so that she could more effectively help those around her. Together, the lessons Anna learned and relationships she built throughout the Institute, including a very close bond with one of her OLAs, allowed her to take the steps necessary to feel better and more prepared to start college this fall. Now she is thriving at Hudson, participating in clubs, building friendships, and even considering adding a teaching certificate to her English major to help others as an educator. I tell you that story because it demonstrates something I have always believed, that girls do remember how caring adults influence them. I was positively impacted by caring women in my own young life, which is why I'm so appreciative of all of you who are engaged in helping our Olympia's leaders build their confidence and achieve their potential. Research reveals that youth with mentors are more likely to go to college and have better attitudes toward school, increased social and emotional development, and improved self-esteem. So just as we stood on the shoulders of others as we embarked on our own personal journeys, we now have the opportunity to lift up a new generation of leaders for the future, which is what this Institute is all about. And thanks to all of you, our phenomenal advisors, school contacts, donors, and partners, we are doing just that. Together, you provide the Institute with the resources it needs to deliver its meaningful curriculum to Olympia's leaders all across Maine. We could never have gotten where we are today without your outstanding support in all ways, and we still need you now as we continue to support Olympia's leaders, not only through high school, but also through the added challenges that come with isolation and remote learning during this pandemic. There is still so much more to do, and with your unwavering belief in our mission, I know we will be able to do it. Thank you again for your exceptional support. Christina, I know now it's time to hear from some of our generous donors and corporate partners, so I'll turn it back over to you. And thank you again.
Thank you, Senator. It is abundantly clear the Institute cannot achieve its mission without all of you, our OLAs, individual donors, foundation and corporate partners, members of our Leaders Network, and professionals around the state. You give your valuable time to connect with Olympia's leaders. So many of you have been with us since the beginning, and we are looking forward to the day in the not too distant future when members of the inaugural class of Olympia's leaders will complete college and enter the workforce, working alongside you. To hear the perspective of some of our corporate partners, we have one final video to share with you.
It was my good fortune to have the opportunity to meet with the original executive director of the Institute, and she came to talk to me as a representative of the MEMIC group to solicit our support. I was so excited about the Institute, its mission, its work. I became a Olympia's Leaders Advisor for the first class and stayed with it for the 3 years.
I actually remember very clearly the first time I had the chance to talk to Senator Snowe about the idea that she had and the fact that it was so well designed and then so well executed has ended up meaning that for anybody involved in it, whether you're a volunteer or one of the beneficiaries of the program, it ends up just being everything you hoped it would be.
I've been very fortunate to be an OLA since this program started a few years ago, and it has been transformative for me as well as for the Olympia leaders. It's really been wonderful to see how they're so shy and so unassuming at first, and then they really blossom and they grow, and the networking that they're being able to do and going on to college and the skill sets that they've learned, it really has been remarkable.
As I think back on those early days and the work that we did to prepare girls for the future, I think it's probably one of the cornerstones in my career.
We've got a number of very senior executives in our organization who have thrown themselves wholeheartedly into volunteering here. And I think that it really reflects a lot of what we hold very valuable as an organization, and this was a chance to really live those ideals and find very meaningful ways to deliver them in the community.
It has been a great partnership between UNUM and the Olympia Snowe Women's Leadership Institute. We value much of the same thing, and a caring spirit is core to the foundation of UNUM. We're very fortunate to have many of our women leaders be part of this institution and support the Olympia leaders.
Having the opportunity to be a contributor to the Institute as a corporate member, we are truly blessed to see the women in our organization have an opportunity to participate, to be mentors, to be advisors, to participate in the Leaders Network, to develop their own skills.
Maine Health has been involved in this program from day one. We recognized early on that there's a real value here in having trained young women who go through a program such as the Olympia Snowe Institute program and gain the skill sets that are needed very much in our workforce on a daily basis.
Maine is facing a looming shortage of good, capable, qualified people, and we need to develop them in any way we can. So it's critical for us as an organization to have these young women coming along to contribute to society.
I can tell you when we interact with the young leaders or Olympia's leaders, we see a group of young ladies that are more comfortable in speaking in public. They are more comfortable talking with individuals within our organization at even the highest levels. They are more confident. They know who they are, and more importantly, they know who they want to be.
Hopefully, the Olympia Snow Women's Leadership Institute will be so wildly successful, it'll be across the nation. And many, many girls will have an opportunity to participate in a program such as this.
Thank you all for joining us today. Before we sign off, we are excited to announce the winner of the Lunch for Two with Senator Snowe and Governor McKernan. During the video, I was handed the winner's name, and I'm excited to let you know that it is Jennifer Mirabli. So Jennifer, we are thrilled that you are the winner of the raffle, and we will get in touch with you so that we can help you schedule that. We have one final surprise for our loyal and supportive donors. Over the past few weeks, Olympia's leaders and their advisors have contributed words of thanks to all of you, on a kudo board. Think of it as a virtual bulletin board. We will show you the kudo board as we close and send a link to you so many of you can view it again later at your convenience. For now, and until we can connect in person again, all of us at the Institute wish you a healthy and happy season of Thanksgiving. Be well. Thank you.